What's up, guys? Welcome to a new episode of the Young Guns podcast. Yet again, a trade breakdown video involving the Vancouver Canucks. So, the Vancouver Canucks acquired defenseman Nikita Zadorov from the Calgary Flames. They give up a 2024 fifth round pick from Chicago that was acquired in the Anthony Beauvillier trade earlier this week. They also give up a 2026 third round pick of their own. There's a condition to the 2024 fifth round pick, which Calgary will receive the best of the fifth round picks that Chicago owns. So we all know that the Vancouver Canucks were looking for a defenseman for some time. They've been a very surprising team this year, very competitive, one of the best teams in the league. And they've been attached to names like Chris Tanev and Zadorov of the Calgary Flames. They acquire Zadorov after all. Zadorov, a couple of weeks ago, demanded a trade out of Calgary, and it was made public by his agent, and a lot of the Calgary Flames players knew about it, and apparently the players said that they were going to discuss it internally. Obviously, it didn't last that long in terms of him being moved. He was moved fairly quickly. So Zadorov is a member of the Vancouver Canucks. But what type of player do they acquire? Well, the Vancouver Canucks are acquiring a defensive defenseman, left-handed, age 28, has played 20 games so far this season, 6 points, one goal, and 5 assists. So honestly, this is a top four defenseman they've acquired. He was playing third pairing minutes with the Calgary Flames, as you can see here, alongside Dennis Gilbert. But he was playing on the right side, so he's pretty versatile in terms of positioning, so left or right. But it's stated that he is indeed a left-handed defenseman. Also, by Jay Fresh. It's stated that Zadorov is a physical a defensive first blue liner whose mix of speed and aggressiveness has both positive and negative effects. Takes penalties on occasion, makes big mistakes, but strong defensive metrics, and can carry the puck in transition. So pretty solid for a defenseman that's being paid $3.8 million for the remainder of this year. And taking a look at the salary cap situation and the contract situation in Vancouver, well, most of their decor is going to be due for a contract extension by the end of the season. So in 2024-2025, you have Zadorov, Cole, Friedman, Irwin, Roenick, and Myers that are all going to be due for a new contract. Roenick, he's an RFA, so they own his rights. But getting a guy like Zadorov, and considering their situation with the contracts, it seems as if they're in win now mode, because some of these guys won't be extended past this season. And with the Vancouver Canucks being one of the better teams this year in the Pacific and in the league in overall, they're gonna want to go all in. And with Quinn Hughes playing amazing, and it's going to be a career year for him. Elias Pettersson is doing well as well. Brock Besser is leading the league with goals, leading the Vancouver Canucks with goals. Everything is clicking for them. Um, there was rumors about Connor Garland being potentially moved at one point, but they got rid of Anthony Beauvillier instead to clear up cap space, because it was inevitable that they were going to add a defenseman, because that was the position that they were looking to improve. In terms of Zadorov, like I was stating before, he has 1 year left on his contract. He's being paid $3.75 million, and he will be a UFA. Will he get an extension with the Vancouver Canucks? I don't know. It all depends on how he fits in with the team, but only time will tell. It's only been 20 to 22 games in the season for most teams, so it's fairly early to distinguish whether he deserves a contract extension. In terms of where he's going to play on the Vancouver Canucks, well, I see him taking possibly Noah Jocelyn's spot or Mark Freeman's spot, and he's going to be playing in a top four role next to Quinn Hughes or Philip Roenick. I think the third pairing of Ian Cole and Tyler Myers is fine. Like I was stated before, he's a left-handed defenseman, but with Calgary, he was playing on the right side. So honestly, he's versatile. They could do whatever they feel like with Zadorov, but I think the intention is to slot him in the top four role alongside Hughes and Roenick. In terms of his numbers, uh, overall, his best season was in 2021-2022, the Calgary Flames. He had 22 points in 74 games. Um, in terms of his best season scoring goals last year, he had 14 goals in 2022-2023 with Calgary Flames. He spent 2.5 seasons with the team. Beforehand, he was with the Chicago Blackhawks, and before that, he was with Colorado and started off his career with the Buffalo Sabres, where he was drafted in the first round, 16th overall in 2013. He is now 28 years old. And, in terms of the return for Zadorov, I'm actually shocked at how little they had to give up to acquire a a player of his caliber. I was expecting maybe a second round pick. Some people were even saying if they would have waited until the trade deadline, maybe Calgary was going to be asking for a B level prospect or maybe even a first round pick, but that was not the case. They execute this fairly quickly. They make the trade. They get their guy. This has been someone they've been eyeing for a long time. Zadorov wanted out of Calgary for a while now. And Calgary, they've been doing fairly well recently. They are, a couple of points outside of a playoff spot, 1 or 2 points if I'm not mistaken, and they are 5-3-2 in their last 10 games. So not the worst record ever. I know they had a rough start during the 2022-2023 season, but it seems like they've been picking it up. And honestly, the reason why they've traded Zadorov over Tanev is because Zadorov wanted out. And I think even though they were doing fairly better, he still wanted out. His intentions did not change. He wanted to play elsewhere. So the Vancouver Canucks take advantage of that and they pay very little to acquire his services. The thing, though, that's interesting as well is that since when, well, not since when, but it's rare that we see two teams within the same division making a trade, especially when they're both competing for a playoff spot. Obviously, the Vancouver Canucks are 10 points ahead with 31 points, whereas the Calgary Flames have 21 points. But um, you know, I'm surprised that they didn't trade him elsewhere to another division where they wouldn't have to deal with competing against each other for a playoff spot. So that's the only interesting thing, because there was a lot of talk where Calgary was being very stingy in terms of trying to trade Tanev or Zadorov to the Vancouver Canucks due to those reasons, essentially. And also, they're both Canadian teams, a Canadian rivalry. So, like, it's rare that we see two Canadian teams, make trades, especially when they're both competing for a playoff spot. But I would like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below about, the return of Zadorov and also the acquisition of Zadorov going to the Vancouver Canucks. Are you disappointed, Calgary fans, with the return? Were you expecting a lot more? And Vancouver Canuck fans, how are you feeling with the acquisition of Zadorov? What do you think he brings to the team? What do you think he's going to do in terms of improving the Vancouver Canucks top four in terms of their defensive pairings? But honestly, this is an amazing trade for the Vancouver Canucks. I honestly think that they got him very, very cheap. And I'm just shocked that Calgary did not wait until the trade deadline, or they didn't wait longer to possibly get a better offer than they did. But at the end of the day, Zadorov wanted out of Calgary. He got his wish. Calgary gets their picks, and the Vancouver Canucks get their guy. Guys, make sure to comment in the comment section below. I'd like to hear from both respective fan bases, Vancouver and Calgary. Make sure to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And also, look out for potential other videos in terms of trades, because it seems like the trade market is heating up and Vancouver is at the center of it. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. We'll see you in the next episode of the Young Guns podcast.